Live yet? We're live? Okay, then we can call the meeting to order. And we respectfully acknowledge that we live and work in Mi'kmaq as the steward of the ancestral territory of the Mi'kmaq people. We are all treaty people. The agenda, any changes, anyone? Tom, you want to add a few items? Oh, sorry.
Thank you, Warden Weber. I'll have a half a dozen little things, and I intend to bring a motion forward at the end. Thank you.
Anyone else, any changes?
I would like to speak about solid waste briefly, just our contract.
Okay. Tina?
Thank you. Under committee reports, South Public Library, as well under new business, out and about in my district. Thank you.
Okay. Any other changes? Somebody want to move the agenda as amended?
Moved as amended.
Discussion, all those in favor? Opposed, the motion is carried. Public input. Each person is limited to a maximum of 5 minutes, with the entire public input session not exceeding 15 minutes. Each person must state their name and civic address. Questions or comments are be directed to myself, and comments are open to any municipal matter. Does anyone wish to speak to the public? Come on up.
Do I stand?
Yeah, right
Stand
there
in
by
the
that mic.
Have a seat in the chair. Any one of the three. Thank you.
Good morning.
Name and civic address.
Thank you for letting me have this opportunity. And my name is Sonia Meisner. I'm a resident of 4988 Blandford. And could I ask this to be distributed? Thank you. So I understand I have 5 minutes.
Yep.
And I'm providing you with a written request and ask that you review my summary. And you may be aware that the St. Barnabas Church has been sold, and I am formally requesting that the council remove the municipal heritage status from the front door transom window. I ask for the immediate approval so that the removal process can be executed by the contractor's deadline of August the 18th, 2026. The purchase and sale agreement of the church contains absolutely no provisions, clauses, or restrictions requiring the stained glass to remain. And while St. Barnabas Church dates back to the 1867, this specific front transom window is a modern addition, I should say. It was commissioned and installed in the 1990s following the passing of my late husband, Lowell Meisner. It's not an original character defining the element of the 19th century structure, and I am the sole individual owner of this specific piece of contemporary family glass. Permission has already been given to the removal of all other stained glass windows, and a qualified local carpenter has been secured to safely extract the window and properly secure the surround door frame. I'm speaking about the transom window. And the carpenter's that's secured dictates that the work must be taken place by August the 18th, 2026. I just learned of this at the past Sunday's service.
Yeah.
So it's a sense of urgency for me. And to deny the extraction of the window places an inconsistent and unfair burden on me. And I just urge the councils to approve my request.
Okay, I think since I talked to you the other day, I've determined that it is also a municipal registered heritage property, and we have had some discussion with staff, and I believe that we have the ability to give permission to have it removed. But as I suggested to you, we can give the ability to have it removed, but we can't have the ability to give it to you, or for you to just up and do it. You need the permission of the current owners of the church and the purchaser of the church.
I have the permission of the wardens of the church.
Okay.
Everybody supports this, and when I brought it to their attention, they were extremely surprised and astounded that my window wasn't included. And if you look at the attachment behind, you will see my window is giving me the estimate.
Yes.
So it's all inclusive.
Okay, well, as long as they don't care, Andre?
One quick question. There are other windows that are being removed,
Yes.
but those, to my
Nobody
knowledge,
asked.
nobody's seeking our authorization to remove those ones.
Right.
So, like,
We didn't know they were being removed.
yeah, so I mean,
Okay, well, I think probably, I'm not sure, but an assessment was made of the exterior, and there was a protective plexiglass cover there, and mine wasn't having that protective glass covering, so they considered that as part of the frame, the exterior frame.
Emily, do you want to come up and speak to this a little bit?
yeah,
Because I had no knowledge of the other windows being removed, and
Yeah.
you would think that that would matter to us too.
It's how they're listed in the
Yes.
heritage designation.
So the church does have other stained windows in it. Those aren't listed. The specific part of stained glass isn't listed in the character defining elements for the other windows. They just speak to the size and the shape of them. The one that does speak to the stained glass is the one that she's speaking about. So
Oh.
that's kind of where it's getting tripped up.
so all the other windows, we don't care about, or in accordance with this agreement.
With the
the
character
state
defining
laws, yeah.
elements, that's right. Now, typically, when a registered property is proposed to have changes, an application should be made to us, and staff make a determination whether it impacts the character defining elements or not. So to the other windows being removed, through the discussions here, we have clarified that the other windows aren't character defining elements, but I don't believe an application has ever actually come in.
So
We
only
have,
this
we
one.
have also had communication with other members from the church about complete deregistration over a year ago as they were preparing to sell the church, but that never
Never occurred. They didn't make the
yeah, no
application.
application ever came in. And so then it was just more recently that Sonia came forward specifically about this window,
So
which
what-
is
And
listed.
I think just for clarity, the other windows, the shape of the window and like, that is part of the character
Yes.
defining element. So if they were to come in and want to replace those windows with rectangular windows or something like that, then that would be something that would be subject to review. It all is actually subject to
Yes,
review. It
that's
just
what- that's
doesn't,
my point.
people just don't always come in and seek permission.
And they risk a bylaw infraction.
So had it come in for review, those windows, because the window, it's the shape of the windows that are part of the character defining element, and they don't specifically list the stained glass, then that probably would have been approved without having to come to council. But because on this one, they specifically talk about the shape and that it's a stained glass window, that's where the
The
difficulty came in.
approval's required, yes.
So can we give permission? That's what I want to know.
So our understanding is that council, acting as Heritage Advisory, and then ultimately council would have approved
Yeah.
Heritage Advisory, can permit changes to the character defining elements. So my understanding would be, yes, council could grant permission, and then as staff, we would remove that listed item as one of the character defining elements. So the church would remain registered, all the other features would remain as they are, and that would be up to the.
Motion that we approve the removal of the transom window above the church main entrance door from the description of the heritage property in question.
Seconder?
Just for clarity, is it the transom window or the stained glass?
Yeah, so technically the language is currently in the character defining elements, rounded head design of main entrance featuring a full crescent stained glass window.
Stained
That's the-
glass,
that's the
sorry,
one
just,
that
we're
we're-
talking
So you
about
just strike through,
removal
yeah.
of the stained glass portion of the description.
Moved and seconded. Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion's
Thank you very
carried.
much.
Simpler than I thought.
Yeah, thank you very much, thanks.
Do we have anyone else who wishes to speak to council that does not have an appointment? Oh, okay, we'll move along to minutes of the previous meeting. Errors or omissions? Somebody prepared to move we approve them? Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. Proclamations and designations. Request for decision, proclamation and illumination request. World Sepsis Day. It was flag raising, yeah, okay. All that, raise the flag.
Yep, so we're just looking for a motion to proclaim September 13th as World Sepsis Day and to illuminate the municipal building in fuchsia purple on September 13th to create awareness.
Somebody prepared to move that? Moved and seconded, discussion, all those in favor? Opposed, motion is carried. Recreation and Parks, 7.1. And that was just a motion, funding. Who speaks to that? Yeah.
Speak to that, request for $800 to attend Scottish Dance Alliance in Winnipeg, Manitoba, and the funding is available and it meets all the criteria, so I would move that we approve the motion 2026-247.
Seconder,
I second that motion.
discussion. All those in favor? Opposed, motion's carried. Okay, 7.2, Fire Advisory Committee meeting. Who's on that one?
Thank you, Warden Weber.
No, yeah.
At this time, I'd like to invite Mitch Vale up to the table. Mitch is our new Fire Service and Safety Coordinator, and I had the pleasure to have the first meeting with Councillor Coolin, he and I, at Chester Basin Fire on July 15th, which was the FAC meeting, which out of that came a couple of resolutions and another resolution that will, our policy
little later.
change will be brought forward. So we're going to try to tag team this without losing too much confusion or causing too much confusion. My motion was prepared and says, motion to approve the capital plan for the water rescue team as presented at the Chiefs meeting of July 9th, 2026, showing initial capital expenses of $243,116 with contingency of $13,884 to cover any potential gaps identified during the initial procurement process and totaling $257,000 as the approved 2026-2027 capital budget. $57,000 from the MODC and $200,000 from the RESPF grant, which you remember we applied for about 4 or 5 months ago and were successful. Furthermore, the FAC supports the asset distribution plan as presented at the same Chiefs meeting and as based on the dispatch and operational best practices and fire hall capacities. So moved by Robert Williams and seconded by Cliff McKinnon. All were in favor of the motion. Now, we can do these individually, or we could do them all together, if that's your choice, your worship.
It makes
We have
no
3
difference
basically
whatsoever to
we'll
me.
do together.
Yeah.
Would you like to go now, or would you like me to finish this at this time? And I'll finish the second one, and then
Okay,
we'll
and
go
then we
through.
can,
Yeah.
he can have something.
So the
to say.
next one is motion to approve the administrative model as presented by municipal staff, where the municipality would own and insure the assets associated with the water rescue program and fund the program by via municipal tax rate. The model would include the creation of a subcommittee of chiefs or their designates who would make operational decisions and provide recommendations to the Fire Advisory Committee, who then makes the recommendation to council for approval. Moved by Lyle Russell and seconded by Chief Chris Turpin, all in favor of the motion. As you can see, they've been working hard for a couple of months now to get this inshore, which is within 2 of the shoreline and inland water rescue group put together. They've done a lot of research. There's been a particular number of individual fire personnel that have been working exclusively with this. And thank you to the staff support, because this has taken a lot of time. Our retiring colleague, Bruce Blackwood, did a lot in this, and I want to thank him for that. Mitch is picking up the new drive and making it happen, and it may seem confusing to you, but it's as clear as mud in many cases when you understand the water rescue part of it. Mr. Vale, it's yours at this point, and then I'll make a motion to accept all three, if you don't mind, at the time.
Unless he tells you different.
Exactly, yeah, exactly.
No. So you wanted me to speak on the terms of the?
Yeah, did council want him to, because the RFD for the terms of reference for
Turn on these mics, please.
Oh, sorry, everyone, sorry. The terms of reference discussion, which is the second motion that
Right.
Councilor Bremner read out, is later on in the agenda, but Mitch can discuss it now before a vote's taken, if council would like, on the terms of reference.
I think that may be beneficial so we don't get too confused in the weeds of where we're at, if you don't
Okay,
mind.
talk about it.
Okay. So the terms of reference is what we're gonna discuss next. So basically, the Fire Advisory Committee follows the terms of reference that has been approved some time ago. But we've made amendments to that to, I guess you could say, to include this subcommittee, there we go. So the new subcommittee, as mentioned in this motion, is going to be specifically laid out. The terms of reference for that committee is gonna be specifically laid out in the terms of reference for the Fire Advisory Committee. So what we've done is we've just included the new terms of reference in the old terms of reference to combine it together. So you'll have the Fire Advisory terms of reference along with the subcommittee terms of reference. We've made a few changes. I think everybody has had a copy by now. Most of the changes to the actual terms of reference were just to basically housekeeping, nothing of any substance. And then the new terms of reference, it is pretty straightforward. The new committee is basically gonna follow the Fire Advisory Committee, and the municipality will provide support as well, which probably will be me. And then that committee will follow the guidelines of the Fire Advisory Committee as well. That subcommittee will report to the Fire Advisory Committee. Fire Advisory Committee then comes back to you and gives recommendations, so. And they will just basically oversee the program, they will provide recommendations on expenditures. There will be an annual operating budget for this program that we are establishing. And the subcommittee will be responsible for developing the expenditures within that budget. And basically, that's the meat and potatoes of it. There is one further thing, just to highlight, that the municipality, because this is a municipality-owned asset, we wanted to ensure that we were, the liability aspect of it was, we were doing that properly. So the municipality will basically approve the recommendations with respect to training with this subcommittee. So the subcommittee, if the municipality is gonna provide an asset for firefighters to use, and we're gonna own it, and we're gonna upkeep it.
We have to make sure they meet certain requirements.
That's right, we just have to provide that little extra layer of oversight to ensure that, for example, they have their pleasure operating craft car, you just can't hop in a boat and off you go. So just small details like that, plus of course the training that's being brought forward by the committee will just ensure that we vet it, that it meets the requirements necessary. So that's the only part that's gonna be a little bit new, and I just wanted to highlight that.
Okay. Tom, you making the motion? Oh, sorry.
Just a question, I know it's funded by the tax rate, so is this gonna be a separate line on our tax bill, or is it going to be included? How is this going to work?
Yes.
I thought it might be in with our fire rate, so I need clarification on that, how it's funded.
So that will come to council for your decision. So it will not be included in the fire rate, because those are commission-based
Yeah.
rates. But it could be either a separate tax line item that shows up on residents' tax bills that identifies it as a water rescue team tax, or it could be incorporated into the general rate. So that will come to council for your decision.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Tom?
Warden Weber, if you don't mind, I'd like to add a third motion then, is to have an amendment made as directed by the Fire Services Coordinator to the committee terms reference P1-112 to include this new subcommittee
Yeah.
that would allow us to be able to produce the communications and the research that needs to be done moving forward. And it just cleans it up and makes it tidy. This also means, sorry, I'll leave it at the motion and then I'll discuss it further. So I'll
Okay,
make
been
that
moved.
motion.
All three motions have been moved?
Yeah.
Do we have a seconder? Moved and seconded. Discussion on the motion. Larissa?
Thank you very much. Moving forward, obviously, is there any assurance that each chief will be consulted on the asset they're hosting at their department? Like, can that be assured? There was questions brought up after the last FAC meeting, concerns that were brought up, that were spoke of in general, just in a general meeting, you know. But however, there are several concerns that have been brought up and they have not been addressed, or they have been spoken of, nothing more than that. But I think moving forward, at this particular department wants to know if inshore is in the scope, which apparently it was discussed at one level, it was thought processed to be somewhere that it wasn't included, but it encapsulates phase 2, or is it within phase 2?
No.
Okay, it's right from the get, as opposed to the thought process was that it was not part of the initial program. So will the Coast Guard be consulted?
So my understanding with respect to the Coast Guard is that because we're using the term inshore, which includes 1 to 2 kilometers from the coastline,
And
that
there's where the
is.
scripting went wrong, wording, right?
Yeah, there was a little misunderstanding with the wording, I think, but the Coast Guard doesn't come within that proximity. They have their own jurisdiction, which is from 2 kilometers further, which would be offshore. I think we could use that term properly.
Okay.
So no, the Coast Guard has not been consulted with this. And in terms of your question with respect to the chiefs having their input, I did bring that forward to the subcommittee that has not officially been formed, but has been working very diligently behind the scenes, and that was agreed upon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Any further discussion on the motion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
My pleasure.
Are we doing the library one now? Are we doing the library one?
Okay, so yes, it's past 9 o'clock, so Church Memorial Park.
Way to contingent.
8.2. No, 8.1.
Morning.
Morning, how you doing?
Thank you.
It's early.
I'm Bill Church, the chair of the Church Memorial Park.
Oh, I've never met you before. Good to meet you.
Good meeting you guys. I'm accompanied with our rink manager, Vanessa Stevens, and one of our trustees, Danielle Kelly. I guess we're here to follow up on a letter of request we made on the 10th of July for funding for our roof monitoring system. Wondering if you've had a chance to look at that and if you've made any decision. If you have any questions, we will do our best to answer them or find you info if we don't.
Questions, people? Tom?
Thank you, Warden Weber. I'd like to put the motion on the floor first, and then we'll have a discussion if you don't mind. So I'll move that we approve this with the support of staff that we can find the funding through process. I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Discussion on the motion. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried.
Thank you very much.
Not a problem.
Thank you.
Glad we were able to do it.
Enjoy your day.
Yeah, never know. Just don't know how the day's gonna go. Okay, 8.2, Jed Stonehouse. That doesn't look like Jed Stonehouse. Oh, there he is.
Morning.
How you doing today?
Great.
That's good.
Do you have preference of which topic first?
No, you just go for whichever one. I have them listed as Ashpatugan Ridge discussion letter. I have
Okay.
discussion and council request for a well, whatever. I don't know if you have the list or not.
Yeah, well, the key thing for us, and thank you for this opportunity, was we were surprised to receive a letter from planning indicating the suggestion to council of rescinding or canceling our development agreement. And we had done a letter October 21st, 25, asking for a 2-year extension, which we had done a number of times with trying to get the project moving. The discussions, we've been having ongoing discussions with planning and as recently as the week before with one of the people that's looking at purchasing the project. And it had a very good meeting with planning. So it was a bit of a shock to see this come, and we just wanted to make sure that this doesn't happen, because it would just kill any opportunity for the project to be able to get a new developer involved and have the project carry forward. The importance of the project to the whole of Mill Cove, the elementary school there needs students. And it's a big project. It's 500 acres and 400 residential units. And the challenge we've been having is to find a developer that would take on the whole project. They have to purchase the project, but then there's another millions of dollars of infrastructure and everything that has to happen. And the current group, 2 groups that we're working with, are planning to each take a portion of the project, one taking the front, the seniors development, and the other one taking the back, the golf course and everything around it. And with the plans of doing some upgrades to the golf course, expanding it to the 18, and just a lot of plans moving forward. We anticipate that offer to be in within the next 2 weeks. I've met with them probably 6 times in the last 2 weeks, and we're making good headway. We had a little surprise, and nobody's fault or concern, but the requirement for emergency access route to the back part of the property. And when we had discussed that in early days of planning, 4 or 5, 7 or 8 years ago, whatever, it wasn't necessary, so we didn't do it. So we're now in discussions with, I think, 5 or reaching out to 5 different landowners in the area where we might be able to have an emergency access route through. We had one that we thought was going to work, and then they were concerned about traffic across their property. And I shared with them, in the last 20 years, I don't think there's ever been a time when there's been more than one emergency on either Fox Point Road or our Parkwood Drive, but they were still concerned. So that's something that we're needing to clear up as well. the Belgium owners are very motivated to sell. They're big developers, they're great people, but have no interest or ability to develop over in Canada. It's just out of reach for them, and that's been the case since they've owned it. So we're really here to just ask that you would maintain the status of the development agreement. I think when I was in the last time talking about it, you wondered if it's in place, why am I here? Well, since the letter came, I just want to ask that you would maintain the development agreement. Otherwise, it will set the project back in a major way. And I can't imagine any negative issues with extending it if it takes another 3 or 6 months for it to get kicked off.
Okay. We want the planners
You
to
have a
speak.
staff report, 12.1 is a staff report on this, so I don't know if you want to do that, move that up now, or if you.
Yeah, I want to move it up now so I can I think. So you guys want to come and speak to that? 12.1?
Sorry, I wasn't quite ready.
I know, but whatever.
No, I'm happy to do it, just
Yeah.
getting my notes in order here.
Yeah.
So the report that I have here is not specific to the Aspetogan Ridge Development Agreement. There are 4 files here, and there's
Yeah.
2 categories of files. So the first that we'll speak of, which may be the simpler to deal with, is the incomplete applications. So there are 2 incomplete applications for development agreements that have been on the books since 2021 with little to no action. They basically have an application form. They did pay their fees in order to start the file. And then one has one existing survey plan and the other has one initial rendering of the building. To be specific here, the first is what's known as the Barracks Building, actually in Mill Cove. So this is 20 Venture Avenue. And Mill Cove Investments Limited is the applicant on that one. So that one has just essentially remained it's not even a complete application. We don't have plans there or any further detail. I had one call this year from that applicant, not looking to get the file going, but they were still looking for partners on the file. So that's that one. The second one is actually from the village here, from 122 Queen Street. This was made by Bob.
Just deal with this one.
Okay.
What?
Oh, we'll just do one at a time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, just the Jed Stonehouse particular issue.
Oh, okay. Forget about everything I just said. So moving on to the approved inactive development agreements.
Yeah.
So Jed would be able to speak to both of these. He just spoke to the Aspetogan Ridge so far. There's also the Sherwood Golf Course. So I'll start with Aspetogan Ridge to align there. So this agreement was signed in August of 2021. It was approved for a 52-unit apartment building and 120 additional dwelling units, which would be made up of either anything from singles up to 4 units in a structure. Basically, in terms of the status, there's been no construction work initiated, no permits issued against the development agreement. And in the terms of the development agreement, it states that if no work has commenced within 24 months of the date of the agreement, that council may consider a discharge. And that's all that I'm bringing this here today, is that these have surpassed the timelines that have been written in the agreements. So they are up for debate and discussion as to whether
There's nothing asking that we extend.
Right, there's nothing saying they have to be discharged. I just wanted to be clear on that. There's nothing saying they have to be discharged. Specific to this one, I think that is some important notes for council. So in this development agreement, in order to have it approved, council was deeded the piece of land shown on the screen here in red. So this was a new PID that was subdivided out. The intention there is that when work began on the apartment site, which is currently the ball field, that this property would be upgraded to become a field to replace that. So where we stand today, the land is owned by MOC. If this agreement was terminated, the requirement for the developer to upgrade that would be lost. So just to be clear. On the other hand, council has committed to holding 52 units of sewer capacity and extended the sewer line to the edge of this property at their expense. And so long as this agreement remains, those 52 units are reserved and not available should any other development come forward and look to connect to the sewer system. So I just wanted to make, those are sort of some additional pieces to weigh here. So we do have the land, but the park hasn't been created yet, and we are holding the sewer. The other piece that I would just note with this is if council chose to discharge the development agreement, what that would mean is that the lands would remain under the current neighborhood comprehensive development district zone, which requires a development agreement to proceed. So hypothetically, if council agreed to discharge the agreement, when a new agreement was proposed at some point in the
Have to go
future,
through the development
we could
agreement.
negotiate the field component again as part of that new agreement, theoretically. So anyway, just those are some of the just additional pieces to this one to keep.
I think Tara wanted to speak.
Yeah, I know, I just wanted to further state that this has been in front of council before. So back in November of 2025, Mr. Stonehouse came and presented to council, and we did have some discussions. And a letter was sent in January of 2026 indicating that council had, following discussion, council had agreed not to consider termination of the development agreement for a period of 6 months. And with a notice that the decision was intended to provide assurance that would facilitate the sale of the lands at the time. And that if the development permit applications were not received within that 6-month timeframe, council retained the option to revisit the termination of the agreement. So that is why this is back in front of you. And further in that letter, we indicated that should council decide not to terminate the agreement, that the 52 units reserved sewer capacity would be freed up, because there are other potential projects in that area that could come forward. And so until that capacity is freed up, our answer to potential developers right now is there's no capacity. And then regarding the water access, we did indicate the council was not willing to entertain discussions to connection or turning over that system right now, because we're in the process of trying to determine how to decommission that fire protection system potentially. Decisions haven't been made, and that's probably another year or so before we make those decisions. It was a minimum of a year, but we're probably 6 months to a year before we bring that back to council right now. Maybe sooner, but we do need some time to continue working with the various partners in that. So that was indicated in a letter in January of 2026.
Okay, thank you. So the big issue is whether or not we're going to extend it or cancel it.
Yeah.
And the biggest risk in extending it is that we don't free up the sewer capacity for any other developers.
Is reserved, yeah.
Do we have any applications in for?
We've had discussions, but our answer has always been,
We don't have capacity, yeah.
so
Okay,
no actual applications, because nobody would come forward with an application if we're telling them.
If we
there's
don't
no
have
sewer.
capacity, yeah. Great, Andre? Or maybe?
Yeah, Councilor Benoit.
Thank you. There is a broader impact, okay, let me backtrack here slightly. Only in recent years have we been processing a volume of development agreements because of recent changes to our bylaws. So we're seeing more and more development agreements that come to this table for decisions. I think development agreements are an excellent tool, and they provide an opportunity for the community to be also involved in the development of their neighborhoods, and I think there's lots of good things that come from development agreements. The drawback to development agreements are they take a lot of effort, both for the developer and staff.
Yeah.
And what I want to watch out for, and I see it in other jurisdictions through my work, my everyday work, is sometimes we have developers that are in the business of creating projects that do not get built. Their product is the approved project rather than the built project. And what that does is it's a speculatory kind of business For example, we have a development that's being proposed in a very large development in your jurisdiction, Warden Weber. And I'm not sure if that will be built by the developer or not, but for example, the development would tie up a lot of our planned sewer capacity.
Yeah.
And I have concerns about continuing to hold development agreements open when there has been no action to actually carry out the terms of the development agreement, and all we're doing is trying to seek buyers, and continually, over and over, we get this story that the buyer's right there, the buyer's right there, we're about to make the deal. And we continued, in this case, we're holding open sewer capacity, and we've gone through as staff and council through the effort to bring this project forward, a lot of effort, a lot of taxpayer money went into it. And then I want to make sure that we send the message as a council that we're not interested in holding open your projects forever while you shop your project around. I'm interested as a councillor in seeing built projects that we approve. So if we're not going to move forward, then we cancel them, or we give very, very short windows in which you can close your deal, or we cancel them.
Yeah. Okay, Gina?
Oops, sorry. Sorry, no, thank you. So just a few things, and then again, we're still going to be having discussions, so just to focus on a few things right now for me. We did receive a letter from Aspetog and Heritage Trust yesterday, council members,
Yep.
and I have high regard for AHT. Always have, from when they opened their doors as Mill Cove Park Development Agency and now as AHT. When I look at their mandate or mission statement and their goals and the work that they do in the area of impact. So I give high credence to the letter that did come in yesterday as part of our files, which, again, we just got yesterday afternoon. So I just want to note that. But also, I want to ask, it was when, Mr. Stonehouse, you were speaking, and it was just at the very end, and did you mention the word 6 months? You can't see where another 6 months, or did I make that up in my head? I thought you had made a reference to can't see where another 6 months would
Cause us trouble.
cause a problem.
Yeah, I'm quite comfortable that they will be
Okay,
in action
okay,
in 6 months.
okay. So again, I just wanted to be sure that I had heard that. Yeah, thank you. And also then, when I look at Garth's report, thank you very much, very detailed. And so when I scroll up on that page, I think, that Jennifer has there possibly, or maybe not, I don't know. So the development agreement, the signed agreement was August 24th, 2021?
Yes.
2021. So, yeah, so it's 2021, so we're now talking,
So the 24-month date
Yeah.
would have been November 3rd,
yeah,
2023.
right, yeah.
And there, and not trying to pile on, but for
Yeah.
honest context, there was a previous development agreement to this one approved in 2019, I believe, and this was an
It's
amending.
been going
agreement.
on for a while.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
no, I just, again, I kind of wanted to get that
But, yeah,
timeline in my head.
absolutely.
You know, again, those things that I've just referenced, AHT, letter of support, if you will, in terms of, and being quite articulate in the letter that they sent to us around the importance of this development and
Yeah,
so
they
on.
want us to extend it.
And then Mr. Stonehouse reference to another 6 months. Again, I'm not saying that's where we're going to land, I'm just saying. And then, of course, the fact that this has been going on for, so again, these are things that I just wanted to kind of repeat and put back on the table, but this is what I'm struggling with, so further discussion around it with everyone else.
Okay, anything you want to add, Mr. Stonehouse, before we?
Yeah, just, the current owners have had it for 6 years and took it because it was in a mess and it went into a foreclosure. And then they had nothing to do with that. They purchased it from the lender. So they have been actively trying to, they didn't get a development agreement to hold on to sell to get more money. They're taking a real hit in this, which is fine. They understand that. They're in Belgium. They can't deal here. So I don't like to be too hard on the ownership because, you know, they're about 5 years in and have been trying to sell it. And so they're very aggressively, we're for the whole project, getting less than the value of the cost to build the golf course. And,
Okay. Okay, if that's it for you?
for that one, yes.
You have another?
Yeah,
Oh,
there's two development agreements.
Okay.
The other one is Sherwood Golf Course.
So the report is laid out with individual motions.
Yeah,
If council wants to deal with it that way.
You
So
wanna-
there are.
We want to deal with this one, or,
So there's two options here that I've presented, obviously council can go off script there, which is to terminate and discharge the development agreement, or to not terminate and discharge,
Yeah.
which, just to be clear, would leave it open-ended. Obviously, there's been discussions here around additional timelines.
yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, the question is, are we going to terminate or are we going to give a 6-month extension?
And I would ask, what happens after that 6-month extension?
Well, that's.
I mean, we
a-
can bring
that's-
it back, or we could set terms today.
Yeah. Okay, Clarissa, I think, has,
So can the terms be set now at the 6-month threshold?
they can if we have them.
Can the terms be set now, today, when voting for the 6-month extension?
If we make a motion to extend it 6 months and we put terms in place, then that's the way it is. So if somebody has terms,
You looking at me for terms?
well, I mean, you're asking whether the terms can be put there, so I'm looking for somebody to tell me what ones they might want, or Councillor Asa?
I'm not in favor of a 6-month. I could deal with a 3-month extension with terms,
Yeah, okay.
my view.
Can I
Andre.
make a comment to that?
No, yeah, you can, I guess, yeah, it's not a motion, yeah, yeah.
The 3 months is in trying to finalize and close a deal will take probably most of 3 months. And hopefully we'll have the deal closed within a month, but it'll probably take another couple months. So the 6 months would be very helpful.
Okay. No, Andre's next.
I'm not in favor of going 6 months. I would give 3 months, at which time this closes, and they can reapply at this point. That's where I'm at with this. This has been going on for a long time.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? Tina?
Certainly. So, yeah, I have high respect as well for Councillor Asif and Deputy Warden Vino. But 3 months can just poof, it's gone, 3 months. I'm okay with 6, I'm just telling you, I'm okay with 6. And I'm okay with 6.
And if I maybe could just to be clear on, with the timeline, so primarily what we consider for the development to an agreement have been started is a permit to be issued against it. We should just be aware of that, in terms of a deal and then having a application and then a permit issued.
Chances are you couldn't do that in 3 months.
I think that would be a real struggle, yeah. Now, we could say here to have a permit applied for within 3 or 6 months. I just think we should be careful on the wording, because if it's issued, with 3 months, that may kind of set it up to fail, to be honest.
Okay. I think Clarissa's next.
Yes.
So what is the staff implication for extending it for 6 months as opposed to shutting it down today and then they have to reapply for a new DA?
It's tough to say. I mean, as Jed said, he has every year been active and brought forward new potential applicants. So every time we pull several staff together and do reviews and discussions and provide information and, in the hopes that that will be the successful purchaser. So there is staff time involved in keeping it open, because it has been active. Unlike actually some of the other ones that have been completely inactive, those don't take much staff time because they just sit on a
There's
shelf.
nothing going on.
So it's, that's a credit to the effort that's been put in to keep this one alive, but it also does take more staff time that way. So the balance is tough to say. Certainly a new application would be like another new file for staff, just like any other. And then there's also the consideration of, how, like we've talked about, things change over a period of time, and holding open an approval means, anything that we've changed since that time is not applicable. We talked about emergency access today and those kind of things. So as a planner, those are the other kinds of factors that I'm thinking about is, and we don't have a set policy to say at exactly this time it cuts off, and that's why we're here hashing this out today. But at some point, in my mind, it would be valid to require a new application to ensure that they're up to the, you know,
Current
the
standard.
current standards and, you know, public engagement and all those kind of things too. So I can't give you what number that is, but that's what the discussion is, I think.
Thank you.
Tom?
Thank you, Warden Weber. I appreciate what Councillor Asov and Councillor Vino have said. Enough is enough. Then I listened to our planner to rush the 3 months. I want a message sent that we are not going to keep holding these things forever.
Yeah, that's the problem.
That we've done, and we have some responsibility in this, I can see that. We have to clean up some things that we haven't addressed. So for that reason, I'd support the 6 months, but that's it. That's the
We would
bottom.
want an actual
Absolutely.
development agreement or something.
100%.
A permit.
A
Yep.
permit in
Yep,
place,
or it's done.
an application for a
Or an
permit
application.
within that 6-month time.
Thank you.
Okay, Andre?
Well, I want to speak to that.
Yeah.
So how easy is it to just apply for a development permit? Pretty easy. But then what? You know, you can hold that permit, when does that close?
It's 18 months and renewable once.
So it just, it's renewable once?
Once, yeah.
And how long is the cycle before it has to be renewed?
So when it's issued, it's good for 18 months, and then there's one renewal. I'm struggling if it's another 18 or if it's a shorter time. At most, it would be one 18-month renewal, like, so 2 periods of 18 months.
If there's a change of ownership, does that trigger a change in the application?
Not necessarily, like the new owner could theoretically carry forward that application if they chose to. There's nothing saying you can't pass a.
And that open application then would, keeping that development agreement could potentially then tie up that capacity in the sewer system.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
3 years.
it's a
That
fair,
doesn't help
it's a
us
fair
at all.
point. It's a fair point.
Okay, so what conditions could we possibly put in place if we extend it for 6 months? What conditions could we possibly put in place that would speed this up so that it would actually get done or not get done?
I'm gonna, if I may, respectfully, I'm gonna turn this around and say, what would be acceptable to council within 6 months?
I want them to start building something.
Do you wanna see, like, right, so, I mean, that's gonna be a challenge, to
I
get
know
a
it
sale,
is.
to get an application through review, issued, and then construction.
I know, it's gonna
6
be
months
winter.
really is, even that's
Yeah, on a big
stretch.
project like this, you'd still be requiring, I think the DA still requires like access approvals and all of that
I
kind
know,
of stuff,
yeah.
right? So to go through that in even
I know.
Like,
a year
right,
is
that's
probably a
realistically,
challenge on a
if you wanna see
project
something
this
built,
size.
I would recommend 1 year and then close it after that. If you wanna see something built.
So extend it for 1 year, and then if that doesn't work, yeah, but I don't think that's
I
gonna
mean,
go.
my recommendation is to close, but just
I
to be
know
clear,
it is.
if that's council's desire, then
Yeah.
I would say
No,
a
I
year
know.
would
I
make
get
it
it.
realistic.
No, we're holding up everything else, so. I think, Abdalla's next, I think.
Yeah, I guess from what I'm hearing is that you're relatively close to a deal. So within that 3 months, if you can bring something to staff and say, look, this is, that can be done. I mean, what do you think about that, Garth? If, you know, you've been at this project a while. So, well, 3 months, as he said, they're close, a couple weeks.
Right.
So if you can come and say, we have showed you whatever, to me, that 3 months is plenty of time for that.
For a sale to occur.
Yes.
Yeah. Again, that's.
Yeah, anyway, and I don't, and again, this, you know, we're holding up other people.
Oh, I know.
And that, you know, anybody that's a builder, you know, central sewer is essential to the project. I mean, that's a major, so that, you know, that's, anyway, that's all I have to say.
Andre?
I would propose 3 months for them to finish their deal, and at which time the new owners can come and petition to council with their
To
plans.
extend it.
And if we have a good plan from the new owners in 3 months, I think that I would be open to extending it at that point. These owners have taken no interest in actually constructing anything in 6 months. So, that's where I'm at. If the new owners come in 3 months, within 3 months, and wish to proceed, then I would be open to that.
Okay, so I'm just talking here, and one of the conditions we could put in place, we'd have to have a development permit within 3 months, or else we'll reconsider termination.
No. That's 3-year commitment. 2 renewals on a development permit with no construction.
Well, what do we want to do? If we're just extending
If they
3
just apply for a permit, they don't have to build anything. And then we tie up that for 18 months, and then they can renew once. So there's another 1.5 years,
Okay,
and nothing's happened.
so if nothing happens within 3 months, that's where you're coming from? But I just want to know what.
I'd move to give them a 3-month extension, at which time, if the
We'll
new owners
reconsider
wish to come
depending-
in and repetition, that's fine, but unless we hear something from the new owners, I guess, then that will be the end of it.
Do we have a seconder for that?
Second.
Moved and seconded, we have a 3-month extension. Discussion. Sharon?
Thank you. I'll just comment, to me, I'm not opposed to a 6-month condition in this case. We're talking 3 months, we're going to be, end of October, November. No one's going to be starting to build in December, January. So to give them 6 months, I'm in favor of that, if they can, get it together. I know it's a tight timeline for 3 months to get the stuff together.
Yeah. Just to be fair to Andre, I don't think he's suggesting that we want them to start building. We want a new owner to come in and tell us what the frig you're gonna do.
3 months for a
And
sale.
if they tell us something that makes sense, then we extend it again. Yeah, that's my understanding. Tina,
Okay,
I
no.
think it was Tina next.
Certainly, yeah, so no, I just wanted some clarification around that before I cast my vote, from what I had previously said, and obviously it's 6-3, but just wanted that clarification in terms of it's
Yeah.
open in terms of the new that opportunity for that
If
new
there's a
owner.
new owner in 3 months,
Yeah.
we want them to come in here and tell us what the frig you're gonna do and what the timeline is, before we extend it any further.
Thank you. And within that 3 months, it's just a permit. We're just looking for,
No, it's
No.
a sale.
just a
So
sale.
it's to have a new owner come in
Oh,
within
come
3
in.
New
months.
owner
I'm
come
a
in
new-
and tell
I'm a
us
new
what you're
person.
doing.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, Tom, no, you don't have a light on. Okay, so the motion is 3 months, and we want to hear from the new owner by the end of 3 months, or else it's not extended. Or it's up for
Yeah,
reconsideration.
we'd bring it back at some point after the 3 months to,
Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion? Opposed, motion is carried. It's a 3-month extension, sir.
Now, so for the Sherwood Golf Course,
Can I just,
I was gonna say Jed went first last time, would we like him to say his piece on Sherwood and then I can
Okay, say your
speak to
piece on
that?
Sherwood. Yeah.
we have Alexander Homburg and Gordy Kirkpatrick, who are the key people at Sherwood now, and would be happy if they wanted to come up and sit. And
Yeah. Yeah. Can't keep track of it all.
So we're just wanting a little different situation, update the development activity, and Alex and Gordy are the key players. Alex has been put in place as Director of Operations, Strategic Planning and Development. I think it's, his title is Hospitality, but he's overseeing all of these items as well. And I think one of the key things on this one that seems to be missing in the letter that came is the development activity that has gone on since the issuing of the development agreement. Several $1 million have been invested in the development under the current DA. On-site communal wastewater system was constructed, and to connect the rec center and the cottage clusters. 5 new vacation cottages, rental cottages have been built and are active. Newer internal road system that gives a loop system and a second access to the main road. Sherwood Road, in cooperation with TIR, but totally paid for by Sherwood, The road has been upgraded and paved all the way 2+ kilometers of land, again, significant investment. Expansion on the on-site vacation accommodations continues to grow, and the future planning process, and they're moving into a next stage of that right now, and Alex is leading the way in that to really kick off some new amenity features as well as additional accommodations. So again, it's already having a major impact in the community. And in the new next stages, they'll be able to do weddings more efficiently and significant groups and a lot of other activity. So we believe that this shows full action on the DA. It's not finished, but these types of developments almost never are.
Okay, thank you. Questions? Sharon?
Thank you. I'll just comment on the, development. I realize it's been slow, but it's certainly an asset. There are people locally employed, and certainly paving the road has helped for you and residents. I would be in favor of, extending it. It's certainly a good project for the area. There's not a similar thing in the area, and I know that quite often other golf courses are booked and people go to Sherwood, and you've been very good for our pro kids. They go and play, and all the funds go towards pro kids. I think very community-minded, which is great. So I would be in favor of extending this.
Anyone else wish to comment or have questions? Andre?
I'll just say that this development differs from the previous in the fact that, one, it doesn't rely on municipal infrastructure. They're all self-sufficient out there, and that we're seeing some progress. So I have no problem supporting the extension.
Okay, Tom?
Thank you, Warden Weber. Thank you for this update, because this is exactly what I want to see and hear. I think this was the issue the last time. We didn't see anything, we didn't hear anything, and I compliment you, and I can support that extension. I agree with you, Councillor Church. This is a positive thing, and this is the way we want to see these permits work and build. So no delays, some time, but no delays. Move forward on steps, so thank you.
Okay, Garth wants to speak before we...
My understanding, we're still going through my staff report, so this is...
Yes, we are.
So just before a motion was made, I would just like an opportunity to present that.
Yeah, well, I think that's as good a time as any.
Sorry, I'm gonna need
You guys have made your presentation, now we gotta do something.
So again, I get to be the bad guy here.
I know.
It's not intended, but I just want to correct some statements for the record from the planning side. So certainly there has been a lot of work on the site. What's incorrect is that investment has been made into the development agreement. So no permits have been issued, no activity has been triggered against the development agreement. The development agreement in this case is for 32 single-unit structures to be spread across the existing golf course lands. So this has no impact on the golf course use itself or anything that it does. So again, all of these files are coming forward because they have been inactive. This one has been inactive for significantly longer than the other one. Now, as stated, there is no additional sort of criteria, there's no lands coming to us or infrastructure that we're holding. It is completely on site, so there's less commitment or obligation that council
It's just nothing's happening in years.
Exactly, and even though this has kind of become one-on-one, this was intended to bring forward 4 files that are all inactive for consideration by council, because we don't have a policy on how long we should keep things on the books. And like I said, from a planning perspective, a lot has changed. We have a brand new plan since this was approved, right? So council can certainly leave it open, but I just did want to make that point that so the work that's happened, the subdivision and the chalets that have been built have been done through site plan approval, which doesn't draw against the development agreement. So the issue here for me is that the development agreement has been completely inactive. I drove the road the other day. It's beautiful. It's so not at all contending against any of the activity at the site. It's just from the planning
particular
perspective, the development
nothing's
agreement.
happened.
That said, I generally agree with council that there's less, on the line to leave this one open. So I just wanted to make those couple points.
Thank you very
Thanks.
much, that's important. Andre, you might as well stay, Garth, in case you have questions.
No, thanks for your sage advice. But again, I personally am aware of efforts to further the greater development in which this would be a part, and I think that doing an extension at this point, because there is really, we're not beholden to any requirements here in terms of sewer capacity or anything like that. It's quite low impact on our taxpayers that we represent. So I am in favor of extending it. We can always revisit, next time it comes around after this extension if nothing happens. But we've seen other efforts to further the greater development in which this would be a part, and I see that this won't really be an issue for us.
So if we were to extend it, what type of a motion would we need in this particular case?
It's in the staff report,
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
there'd be, again, we could there's a couple of options. You can set a time limit, you can not set a time limit, which just leaves it here until
leave it, yeah.
sometime we do another review of open files and bring them forward. You could also, if you wanted to set like a longer term time limit, it could be like by the 2030 plan review. If it hasn't been triggered then it would come back.
Okay.
So those are just some options.
And I think if council wanted to just leave it open without
Yeah,
a timeline,
exactly.
we wouldn't need a motion.
We just
I think,
don't
right?
close
That's
it.
right, because there's
It's not
nothing,
expired.
it's just leaving it
it's
as
just
is, that's right.
leaving
That's-
It would
as
just be
is,
not
it's
closed,
just
yeah.
not
Yeah,
closing.
exactly.
Okay, you think Tina was next?
Yes.
Okay,
Thank you. So I just want to mention to Garth, you're not the bad person here. It's us, it's councilors. We know this. We know this stuff. We have nothing in place in terms of, there's nothing there in terms of a timeline. So it's on us, it's not on you. Thank you for reminding us about what, the fact there. But also too, I forgot we had a new plan in place, right? Forgot that. And we did that for a reason, right? Those components of that new plan are very important. But I'll live with whatever we decide here. Thanks.
Tom?
Thank you, Warden Weber. I myself also agree, this is a council problem, we gotta fix it. We've got a mess and we gotta get some work done on our own. And we have to bear this. I thank you, Garth, because you are not the bad person there. Absolutely not. I sense how frustrating it can be, and I appreciate that you stay committed to what we ask you to do and what we need to do. And we as council need to do some things to clean these things up that have been long overdue, and we know that. We're not blind to that, so I look forward to the opportunity to do those things as a councillor. Thank you.
I think Abdellah's next.
I just, Gareth, this file, as you say, has been out, and it's sitting on the shelf. There's no staff time.
No, that's right.
That would be my issue.
Right, yep.
So I'm fine with the extension. Yeah, that was my issue. Yep, that's all I have.
Andre?
There is no resources being consumed here.
Yeah.
No.
But we do know that with everything, regulations,
Everything
plans, they
changes.
evolve over time. And some things don't make sense into the future for us. It happens with everything. The building code in 1970 is different than the one today. Because we learn new things and we put them into policy. So an open-ended extension, I would probably not be in favor of. What we have the benefit through the chair to ask the applicant what is their plan, if they would be willing to help us with that, so that we could better inform our decision on how much time you might need to start that work.
I'd be happy if you would answer that question for us.
Okay. We haven't discussed it in detail, but They are just going through an extended process. And the interesting thing, anything that they decide to build that goes away from that will be another application anyway. So I would say if they could, I think somebody mentioned 2030, was it a couple of years, or even 2 years, would probably be fine. I'm sure with Alex's work over the next 6 months, they will have a clearer plan of what's next. And it will probably require changes and new pieces anyway.
If I can interject here just
Please.
a second, like as the report says, we spent several $1 million, like in recent years, and, went to a great effort to get the road paved. It's been trying to get paved for probably 10, 15, 20 years. There's been some promises made from province at certain times that it was going to be paved, and finally, the decision was made with Alexander and his dad that we will pave the road. We're not going to make that kind of significant investment to not be able to develop further. Like you're not paving that kind of road, making the changes just to make a better road for the house. And as one of the councilors suggested, it's also been an improvement for people on the road.
No, but that's not in dispute. I think we're trying to gauge if we were to give you 3 years, would that be adequate to see some activity on this development agreement? What is reasonable? We don't want to leave it open-ended, that in 20 years, thing's still stinking up the place. We want to see that. That's why we do this work, and the development agreement process takes a lot of work for us. So we don't want applicants coming and putting our staff through all of that work and then not proceed with their development agreement. So part of this, what we're doing today, is sending a message to other developers that aren't here in the room, that if they're not actually planning on doing something, don't bother, because after a few years, if nothing happens, it's going away.
And that's fair.
So what we're trying to read, your body language here is, what kind of extension do you really need?
I would say the 2030 thing, Alexander, I prefer if it was left indefinite, obviously, but the 2030, I think, would work. Somebody suggested the 2030.
It's a 4-year extension. Okay, Clarissa.
This is our mess to clean up as far as council. We don't have the policies, we don't have the restrictions, and that puts staff at jeopardy. It's constant work for you. This is something that we need to relook at, the policy extension and deadlines, and it's something that we should look as a collective group. Because this whole mess is basically council's responsibility, is it not? Like,
It's
leaving
ours
things
to make the
open-ended and
decision.
not having timelines and
Well, and-
definition of timelines does put stress on our staff.
I certainly appreciate the supportive comments and that kind of thing, but I would also say it's not entirely council's fault either. Like, this, reviewing inactive permits or applications is a regular part of staff work and like
Fair.
planning staff work. And in a lot of ways, I'd say it's, a happy thing that we haven't been here before, right? This is the first time in my 12 years here that we've been here with these 4
Yeah, so it's
files,
not
right?
that
So
big.
most of them do move their way through or get withdrawn or don't ultimately get approved in one sense or another. So the reference to policy that's something we can think about, but I didn't intend to blame council for not having something. This is kind of a new, yeah, but I think it's a collective thing to just, to work out. So anyway.
I'll move that we give them a 3-year extension.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded, discussion. All those in favor? Opposed, motion is carried.
Thanks so
Okay.
much.
Okay,
And now to quickly finish my report if I can. I know this is long. So we've dealt with what I would say are probably the more difficult two here, which was great when we had those folks in the room. So the other two, as I mentioned, are incomplete applications that really haven't progressed to the first, public information meeting. They basically got an application and some very basic documents, but not deemed complete. So the two here are, like I said, the 20 Venture Ave in Mill Cove, which is previously called the Barracks Building. And there's an application for a development agreement to expand on that building and do an apartment structure. And then the second one, as I mentioned here in the village, is for 122 Queen Street. applied from Bob Uden in May of 2021. And the request there was an amendment to actually our old village bylaw that's no longer in effect. So there was really no path for that one to be brought forward. I think technically staff could have probably closed these, but where we were
You want
bringing
a motion
forward.
from us to close them?
If you wish, yeah, and where we had the other two to talk about, I just wanted to bring these for attention as well.
Who lit up first?
I move that motion.
Do we have a seconder? Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried.
Thank you.
I don't care about the rest of you, but I'm taking a break.
I'm going first.
Okay, call the meeting back to order, and we're back on to committee reports, which is, I'm gonna do nominating committee first, and I'm gonna appoint Abdella, Clarissa, and Tina. And that's done, that committee report's over. No, no, you have to do it.
Thank you.
Okay, now we're on to public library. We're gonna meet at some point today.
Thank you. So just to identify a couple of things with Social Public Library, we had a board meeting middle of July, July 15th. And from the meeting, just 2 points. We've been doing fundraisers, the library, staff, board, nah, staff do all the heavy lifting. So just wanted to note the fundraisers, the external fundraisers, because of the fact that they have been very successful, and I believe very successful for 2 reasons. The funds that are being brought into our operations. So we all know about the line items, municipal line item, provincial line item, regular donations, and so on. But again, it's very important to note the fundraisers that are being worked on. For the other reason as well, it's upping the profile, I believe, of the current discussions around libraries. So I know that the fundraisers are receiving some press from CBC, TV and radio and print, CBC, and they are capturing some of the comments from board members and staff around just where we are as Social Public Library and forging ahead and the positive outlook that we have and so on. Again, recognizing the current climate and what we're seeing and hearing about libraries. Just wanted to mention that and give a shout out to staff, again, for what they're doing with the fundraising. And also, so switching to Zoe Valley. So before I get into the grand reopening event and the date that happened and took place a couple Saturdays ago, just to talk a little bit about the stats that we're seeing at the Zoe Valley Library. So every month, of course, the libraries in Nova Scotia will provide, the library boards provide to the province of Nova Scotia their monthly stats. So at this particular juncture, on July 15th, I really picked up on the fact of what we saw for visits, in particular at Zoe Valley. So the CEO reported that we had over 800 visits in the first month of opening the Zoe Valley. Wednesdays, we would expect are busy because that's when the mobile has traditionally been in Chester, in this area. And we are seeing that as a constant. Wednesdays are busy, but we're also seeing this expand into other days, and that's the words of the CEO, not me. We are also seeing the Thursday evening, that is the evening that we're open there at Zoe Valley, the traffic row. And again, her quote, and that is a mix of library card holders, for sure, like the regular folk that always go to the library, interested and curious residents, again, wanting to take a look at the building, but as well take out a library card, we hope, as well, again, it's the time of year, but visitors to the municipality of Chester. So visitors are seeking this out as well, just because, again, I think the building itself and the whole story of Zoe Valley and so on. So not to take away from that at all, not to pretend it's just simply the library and the books on the shelves, but it's the building and the people in it and the story. So now, just switching over to the wonderful day that was had by all in the village here and beyond with the grand reopening celebration on Saturday, July 18th. I was happy as a board member that there were other board members in attendance from other municipalities, and I thought that just demonstrates the level of support that we all have for all municipal units making up Social Public Library. So we had representation there from the Town of Mahone Bay Council, the Town of Lunenburg Council, and the District of Lunenburg Council. So those board members that were appointed to that board were able to make it to the Zoe Valley reopening. And I think that the program was just top shelf. Again, any other program typical would be the opening remarks and the guest speakers and so on. But this one really was just, it was one big hug. you know, I don't know, maybe, I'm guessing, but maybe like 100 people there. I think that's what I had heard from the staff after the event, because I'm no good at kind of looking at the lay of the land and guessing the number of people. I always just over-exaggerate. Maybe that's because I'm a politician, I don't know. No, I'm just joking. But no, the program, and I know that Councillor Bremner was there, and it was heartfelt. It was very heartfelt. So I think that maybe Councillor Bremner should speak as well, right now under committee reports. Thank you for that.
Tom?
Thank you, Warden Weber. It was a very positive day, and I'm going to use words that have been brought to me by a number of my constituents, healing. We've gone through a rough year to get it back to where we are. If you haven't taken time to go to the Zoe Valley, please do. I believe you'll be pleasantly pleased if you're into modernization, the work that's been done by generations of people. We have the tower there that's going to have more opportunity to be used, and the information of history, why it was built, the last of 7 towers in Chester that remains that's totally usable. We're hoping to get some lights on in the evening to light it up, illuminate it. The garden work that's being done, the people that were there, the donations, the years of hard work by many, and now what the future holds is, as Councillor Connor says, a very exciting healing opportunity for our community and those that have had challenges with where it's gone and what it's doing. But, you know, I'm hearing wonderful things from the people that want to share with me what they're feeling, and the interest is growing every day. 800 people, wow, in a month. That's incredible when you think about it. When I believe 7 or 8 in the province were closed, we actually revamped one and opened it. And those councillors that came from other municipalities mentioned to me their pleasure of being there and seeing what happened. And as councillors, please take the time to go. So thank you again, Councillor Connors, for your continual work in the library system and process. And I'm excited that this is back in action in the Chester municipality and for beyond. We're seeing people from all over the place. Thank you.
Okay, so now we're moving on to 10.2. Policy P20 fees, Kaiser Meadow, tip fees. We've already dealt with this.
Thank you, Warden Weber. So this is simply to formalize or the go-forward plan on dealing with the construction demolition debris fee waiver for residential customers. So as council recalls last week, there's some discussion around formalizing what had been sort of previous informal practice of allowing residents within the municipality to bring a certain amount of C&D material out to the landfill with a waiver of the tipping fee. So based on that, what we could see from what appeared to be the consensus coming out of that discussion, so we have basically 2 motions. One is to give direction to CEO and staff to come up with a way to formalize that within the fee policy based on let's say, sort of minor renovations to allow that practice to continue, and also for council to formally authorize a suspension of the tipping fee for residential customers from within the municipality for 90 days while we prepare and bring forward those proposed amendments.
Okay, thank you. Anybody got a problem with that?
Make those 2 recommended motions.
Seconder? Second. Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. 11.1, speeding traffic on Victoria Street.
Yeah, do you want me to? We have a letter from a resident in the village on Victoria Street regarding speeding. It's on the agenda for council's consideration and any direction. The streets in the village are provincial streets, so.
Yeah. Tom?
Thank you, Warden Weber. I'd say I get a call weekly on this problem, no matter where it is. I actually worked with one community group that have now determined there wasn't a speeding problem in one area of the village. It actually was something they thought it was happening. But after working with the RCMP, it was proven there actually wasn't. and it was a volume concern now, which is a different reason, but everybody comes to me and wants their speed reduced. As it's been noted, all but one road in the village are J-class roads of the province, so we have no right to change any speeding rules. And if those are changed, that doesn't always make it better.
No.
It can actually make it worse, and folks have to realize.
More people are speeding.
Yeah, so it's something that you have to be very cautious. It's the first go-to, and I understand it. I try to educate people and work with them. They don't always accept that, but I do get a lot of calls on this, and I have tried to share with them the reality of what we can or can't deal with. Thank you.
Andre?
In no way would we want to diminish the concerns of this resident. I think we've all taken calls about speeding in our districts, and so I think beyond referring this matter to the RCMP Advisory Committee, I don't think there's much more we can really do at this point, so that's what I'd suggest we do.
Okay, we'll put it on the agenda for the RCMP advisory. Yeah. Okay, 11.2. Urgent need for improved cell service in East Chester. I don't doubt it, but I'm not sure how we fix it.
I can say we have sent multiple letters to both Bell, Eastlink, and to the CRTC to try to resolve this. We've had discussions with the province. Is it Build Nova Scotia still, or it's Build Nova Scotia, are working on cell coverage. The issue we heard last is not so much that we don't have towers covering us, but that those towers are overwhelmed right now with new cell service plans and unlimited data plans and all of that kind of stuff, but we continue to advocate for it. It's probably something that needs to be advocated for province-wide, potentially through NSFM, and that might be an option to refer this to NSFM and make it a priority. It's also something that could be addressed potentially through our local REMO as an emergency issue, so it could be referred to REMAC for discussion as well.
Okay, so people want to add anything?
Councillor Bremner was first.
Yeah.
Thank you, Warden Weber. Thank you, CAO McGuire, because that's exactly what I was going to say. Remo, I'm driving a lot around and I'm seeing towers popping up everywhere. So I can't figure out why we still have such poor coverage in this kind of modern day era. I would recommend we write NSFM supporting that. And I think yearly we write those three major providers, and say we still have challenges and safety is dependent on it. We see it every day, less and less landlines, more and more cell phones. I see they're adding another exchange to Nova Scotia, so I think that's our third one now coming up. So things are growing, they have to get on ball. We're paying top dollar for this service, we better get top service. So thank you, I appreciate the opportunity.
Who was second?
Councillor Vino.
Councillor Vino?
I'll just say, I think I've raised this a number of times in the past, and we have, as a council, written to the various agencies. I would just suggest that, to echo Councillor Bremner's thoughts, that we probably should dig out those correspondence and follow up with them, that we still have unresolved issues and certain geographic locations in our municipality, and that we need some sort of activity. I think it's a bit more than just usage. So I think you can travel through East River and 3 o'clock in the morning and you still, there's holes. And I think they're known issues, and I'm sure they know as well. So we need some sort of plan. We can't hurt it.
So we can write them, that's not a problem.
Good.
Larissa?
Yeah, thank you. I know it was a major concern when I was campaigning through Sim Settlement. That one lady is a teacher, and she said she has to go outside of her own home daily and just to find service for her phone. So, I mean, that partners also with emergency vehicles. And so speaking with NSFM is a great idea, Tara. I think that's a wonderful position moving forward. And of course, Remo for sure. I mean, there was at least five homes that I visited in the Sim Settlement area. They all said the same thing. Can we get cell service? Thank you.
Okay, so we'll just write them. We don't need a motion. You can just do that? Yeah. Okay, so I think I'm on to 12.2. if I can find it. $12.2, approved development agreement, no. Growth
Yeah.
and renewal for infrastructure development.
So this is a report that was provided by the village clerk
Oh, yeah.
as administrator for the, in 2024, the Village of Chester Commission was successful in being awarded a grid application for retrofits to the Lido pool.
Yeah.
They, for various reasons, did not use those funds, did not undertake that project. They would now like to amend their grid application, and they're looking for a motion from council to support that amendment. And what they're looking to do is accessibility upgrades at the Zoe-Bell Library. Repurpose those funds, so.
Somebody
and-
prepared to move that, or moved, seconded? Discussion, all those in favor? Opposed, motion's carried. 12.3, department update, corporate strategic management.
So this is in the package for council's information. I'm happy to answer any questions or elaborate on anything if council wishes.
It's all in there. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, 12.4, department update, Department of Solid Waste.
That'd be you.
That's how much tonnage of everything we've got.
I'd simply say if it's in the package and if council has any particular questions, certainly happy to.
Volumes are up. Looks like we're being used.
In a good way.
Councilor Connors has a question.
Thank you, yes. So jumping right to the last page of your staff report, the 6 curbside waste inspections, how are these going?
I think so far it's being received well. I think we're trying to take this more as an educational round, so it's like we aren't
course.
necessarily going out with a ticket book and
Perfect.
wrapping folks on the knuckles. So we're just basically trying to educate. There's some,
Yeah.
just some information stickers to say,
Yeah.
hey, just for next time, please
Yeah.
keep
Yeah.
keep this in mind.
No, that's
So
perfect. That makes sense to do it more as an education, right,
Yeah.
than a ticket book, of course. Thank you for that. And also to just second to that, then, item number 2 there, point number 2, the whole community outreach schedule. And I appreciate the fact that we're in summer, of course,
Yes.
summer. But I'm just wondering, I know that when Emily was in here last, I did mention a group that of, probably 30 people that had mentioned it to me, 25 maybe, at an event that I have been speaking to about that, having an interest in seeing a public meeting in the community of New Ross, if you will. And I know that others had said that would make sense. And I know that when we chatted with some of the other schools, like Councillor Coolin had mentioned, if we're down Aspetogan and to the
Yeah.
school there, and different things. So I'm just wondering, again, recognizing that it's summer, but has there kind of been any firming up of any of that other scheduling?
I can't say for schools just yet, but I suspect probably earlier on. Certainly if there's any groups that have an interest in doing that, certainly feel free to direct them towards Emily and that.
Yeah.
I know there's planned for a couple of the farm markets and community events through August.
Yeah, okay.
It's on her schedule, and it's certainly when the schools come back in early September, I think there's certainly a plan to start to reach out and try to
Yeah, yeah.
further our ties there, so.
So in terms of the farm markets, I'd forgotten, so we're treating that kind of like as a pop-up? Because I know those have been very successful during our plan review,
Yeah.
as well as EDI. I know that with EDI, some of the work that we were doing with EDI, we did a presence at a farm market or so, and I think those are very, very well received.
Yes, so something like that, or I think for one or two of them, there's like a community information booth. I think
Good,
she'll be
very
occupying
good.
for it in the morning, so.
Excellent.
She's certainly been moving a lot and certainly has plans to keep expanding that.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Good. Clarissa?
Just a point of applause to you. The residents in Mill Lake are quite pleased with the attention that was given and the courtesy that you took in cleaning up that area and monitoring it as well as you've been doing. And I'm getting nothing but praise on your behalf.
Oh,
Thank you.
Certainly appreciate that.
That's good. Good news.
Yeah.
Sharon?
Thank you. Just on your little chart there on the materials received, I noticed that there's a massive increase of contaminated soil.
Yes.
Is that from outside? And Do we still do the testing on that?
Yes, we still do testing, yes, it's a bit of a mix of both within the county, but also outside. It's that, there seems to be fewer facilities that are accepting materials, and, so we're seeing, and also the province, Nova Scotia Public Works has been doing a little bit more remediation activity in the last year, so that's part of the drivers.
Because it's huge increase over.
Yeah, yes, it's, yeah, we had a very, as I say, with 24, 25, very slow, but it certainly has been picked up. But again, that's somewhat driven by folks unfortunately having spills and accidents and that, but in that, so it's not a,
And a lot of work
not
going on.
stable, yeah, it's hit or miss, one-offs.
And we have the capacity for it, and I take it we still charge.
Oh, yes, we're still charging, and yes, it's like, because that material, we can turn around once it gets to within certain limits, we can use it as covered material within the landfill, so it's,
Okay,
It's good for,
on our end, so.
okay, thank you.
Andre?
With the council's indulgence, I can bring my item
That'd be
forward.
the perfect time right now.
Let's just shift gears slightly and talk about collection. So in the last week or so, we had an incident where residents in District 1 actually they didn't get their solid waste collected. And I've heard reports over the last, say, well, for a while now, that collections are getting increasingly later and later. Like residents were used to seeing their solid waste picked up at, say, 7 or 8, 9, and then it becomes noon, then 2, then 3, and sometimes they're coming after supper now. And it would appear from the outside that, you know, the hauler is struggling to get enough resources to actually collect over the 4 days, because they went to the 4-day schedule rather than 5. And as summer volumes ramp up, and then we have our seasonal residents come in and they're adding waste, and it would appear from the outside that they're struggling with their 4-day schedule to get enough man truck hours in those 4 days to actually collect. And, you know, I'll just say that, like, solid waste collection is something that comes up from time to time as an elected representative. It's very operational. So not too often, but in my time here, which has been arguably too long, depends on who you talk to, you know, I haven't really dealt much with solid waste, because it's one of those things that just ticks along in the background. It's one of the few things that people can see their tax dollars at work.
Yeah, they actually know they're getting something.
So it's sort of like, it's a concern for me, because obviously we don't, as elected officials, want to be fielding calls, multiple calls sometimes about solid waste collection, because it's sort of like one of those things that just should hum like along, because we've been doing it a long time. We're good at it, we thought. So I'm just wondering what your thoughts are on the current situation and how we can maybe try to remedy this issue.
Yeah, as I threw you warned it, Deputy Warden. Yeah, certainly something we're keeping an eye on. Certainly we share the concerns as well, because I think particularly last Friday was definitely did not go according to plan. From what I understand, we got slammed at the wharf with a lot of the fishermen that brought materials on, which that's a sort of a separate discussion that we have to have with them on how we need to proceed with that in the future. But parking that particular item aside for the moment, yes, it's like we've been noticing the same thing. We're having discussions with them, but I think it's coming to a point. We're just going to have to say this just isn't working as well as it needs to be.
Or they put more trucks on the route or something like that.
However they resolve it, but at some point, I think
generally, because I'm not in their business, but I can imagine in a time in this climate of having trouble attracting people to labor jobs, especially ones that, you know, they're handling solid waste. I can see how that would be a difficult job to fill. And offering a 4-day work week to those people could be a perk that could help attract to those positions. I'm assuming that may have been the motivation for that.
I would say that's probably a fair comment.
And so, but I mean, that means that they may have to try to put more trucks on those routes, because they're losing 25% of their days
Yeah.
Sorry, 20%. You know, I just, I'm sure there's a way around it, and I think generally, I think the residents are okay with a 4-day week. They just, you know, they don't know, because they're putting their waste out. They've been instructed before by us that not to put it the day before and things, and then, so they know if it doesn't get picked up, they have to bring it back, and they're handling their waste, and there's uncertainty, and I think that's part of what's breeding these concerns, and obviously, I don't wanna belabor it, because you know it well, but, you know, and it's very operational, it's, you know, but I felt like, you know, it does impact some of our policy decisions, and if, in our future contracts, we may have to, like, examine this issue, you know, I think probably our contract is silent on it right now, so you know, I guess that's the only reason why we would get involved at this level, but, you know, it's just an open discussion right now.
Della?
Thank you. Yeah, I just echo Andre. I had some issues in my area when they went to a 4-day work week, and that garbage is a huge issue with people when it's not picked up. As you said, they resolved it, but not till 2 days later, but that was just the tip of the iceberg, because I'm sure the other districts are having the same issue. And I know that they know about it, and
You're trying to
I
work.
think their intentions were, as Andre said, maybe to attract, but before they get there, I think they need to address, because it's, as you say, it occurs not in the same place all the time, but it's occurring frequently, just in different spots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're trying to address it.
We've been working with them, and certainly we'll relay council's concerns with that as well. And it's always going, I mean, I think, you know, to your point, I think it was fair to give this a try. Just whether or not they can actually make this working sustainably.
And
for
what
long-term.
was
So
the thing about, that I was getting the complaint is because the one side of the road got picked up at the normal time, and then the other side of the road didn't get picked up till the next day. And I know that's the way they do it, but, yeah, so anyway, I'm sure they're working on it.
Yeah, and certainly certainly some of the operational quirks are a little bit different too, because I'll speak for myself back home, it's the same thing. It's like my side, my road gets collected like relatively early. My neighbors across the street are later in the afternoon, just because of how they have to cycle the truck through the subdivision, so.
Okay, oh, Tina?
Actually, yes, so it's not really with Scott's quarterly report, but it's the one previous that I forgot to speak up on, if I could go back to that.
Okay.
Would that be okay? So
Yeah.
Scott, phew, right? So the corporate and strategic management. So first off, I find it I think it's wonderful, and I find it interesting about the stay interviews. I think that's wonderful.
Oh.
I do. And that's new, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
great. Thank you for doing that. Thank you. And also then, my question under the EDI Action Plan Progress, the full-day training session that we had in May, that I wasn't able to make it because of health reasons. 22 people attended, council members and staff, and I'm wondering if there'd be any chance that we might be looking at doing a repeat of that?
That could be up for council discussion and approval. We had just enough in the budget to do the one session, the one full-day session, in addition to the placemaking 4G Foundations of Belonging training that we're doing.
So,
Yeah.
just out of curiosity, and I could have asked this prior to, I didn't make it, of the 7 counselors. How many counselors were able to make it that day? We could just say. You don't have to look it up, we can say.
I'm trying to remember how many. Was there?
Clarissa, I think you were there.
Oh, yeah, I was there.
4,
Bill,
yes.
Della was
So
there.
maybe the majority of council already made it, and I just,
Yeah.
I'm out
we
of luck,
did,
right?
yeah.
So, yes. Yeah, so
Okay.
just to keep it kind of in mind, maybe.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, we're moving on to Tina, out and about.
Right on.
Yep.
Woo, okay. Out and about. Scott, you don't want to miss this. No, I'm joking, I'm joking. I'm joking. So typically I try to stick with 3, so that's the same for today. So the New Ross Volunteer Fire Department recently celebrated a milestone anniversary. 80 years. Woo, way to go, New Ross Volunteer Fire Department. So it was a Saturday event. July the 4th, Saturday, July the 4th, consisted of a parade and really full-day activities up till about supper time. I was very happy to see, I was very happy.
Hot dogs, hamburgers, yep.
Very happy to see the participation of a number of fire departments that surround, if you will, New Ross, so the Valley departments. Chester Basin was there and Blandford was there, so I was happy to see Blandford and Chester Basin. Yes, there was a free barbecue with hamburgers and hot dogs. And a number of.
They made me give them $20.
Thank you for that. No, I didn't know that. Number of kids that, they gave me 20,
Well, I
so
asked
hey.
if they
No,
were.
I'm joking, I did not.
I asked if they were taking donations, and they said, yes, from you with certainty.
Oh, right. So they had kids' activities, as is typical with a lot of these events, but I have to say, they had the coolest bouncy castle I've ever seen. Coolest bouncy
was
castle.
a
Never
nice
seen
one,
that before. We had remarks from Warden Weber, so thank you for that, and a presentation. And I was happy to see the shout out in our monthly publication, the New Ross Flyer, to special guest Bruce Blackwood. So we in New Ross, I can't speak for other areas, but I would guess that as other areas, absolutely appreciate and, know the work that that position and he has done, if you will, and they have congratulated him on his retirement and thanked him for the years that he served in the fire service, and best wishes as he journeys into the next chapter in life. And we hope that he takes the time to relax and enjoy life. So that was nice to see the community thank Bruce. I shared that with him earlier. So just wanted to mention that. And now the second would be the annual fair that you're all aware of in the community, the New Ross Community Fair. They are expanding. They're going to a third day. So it's now a 3-day event. Woohoo! So Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So that's always, again, the same date as any festival or event, whether it be Chester Race Week or the New Ross Christmas Festival or the Western Shore Area Garden Party Day. All those events stick to the same schedule. So in this case, it's the third weekend. I think it's a third weekend. August 20th, 21st, and 22nd. So just wanted to mention that. That's kind of big news. And also thirdly then, would be, we have a new farmer's market that's been reintroduced back into the community. I'm so happy. Missing that event and missing that opportunity to have those conversations with my community members, if I could, I'm not making it about myself, but that was just a real opportunity. So it's at the site of the Ross Farm. The Ross Farm is organizing and leading the initiative at this time. Right now, it's the third Sunday monthly, just simply once a month, so the third Sunday, up until October. So it started in June, and it will go until October, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. So those are my 3 items to share with you in terms of my out and about in my district. Thank you.
Thank you. Tom, you had a few items you want to mention?
I'm going to talk about out and about, but I've got about 4 or 5, maybe 6. Just a reminder, this week is a bit crazy in our village. I am very honored that the film people will invest in our municipality because they spend a lot of money and provide a lot of opportunity for locals and others to both come and see our community, and around the world comes and sees our community. I hear lots of people come just because of shows that have been on TV. Be cautious in the village and around the municipality. There's a lot happening. Traffic, just drive patiently in our municipality. You're getting stopped everywhere. There's more stop signs and paddle people with slows around than we can imagine, so I ask for patience. I did really appreciate the opportunity to be invited on behalf of council to bring greetings to the Zoe Valley reopening, and on July 19th, I also brought greetings on your behalf to the 100th anniversary of the Royal Canadian Legion as a body in Canada, and that was a great event, and one of our council colleagues provided awesome entertainment that many of us enjoyed, and thank you, Councillor Asa, for your voice and your talents and your great dancing ability.
Oh, I thought it was Sharon who sang.
Yeah, exactly. So that was good. And I want to give a shout out to the seasonal, the numerous weekly and monthly events that happen, the farmers markets, the barbecues and everything else that I encourage people to partake in because it's important to keep those things supported. I always talk about water conservation. Even though I look out the windows and it's raining, please be aware that Water levels do go down this time of year, but we're also lucky we're having some rain, but please be conservation wise and think about what we can help each other with in reserving our usage to the best of our abilities. I want to also talk a bit about garbage because we have a number of community garbage containers around the village. From the Gib Lot to the bandstand in Chester along Victoria Street, South Street and Parade Street, I think it's called, there are a number of Village Commission garbage cans that are monitored and taken care of by them. We have two. One is at the Tancoke Ferry Wharf, and the other one escapes me for right now. The municipality takes care of. I've talked to staff because I get a lot of issues. They collect it at 9, at 10 o'clock, somebody rams it full of garbage and it doesn't get picked up for 24 hours. It's tough to go every moment, but I will assure people they're being monitored and being taken care of to the best of our ability. Of course, we can always do better, but that takes more staff. We have staff out on recoveries, we have staff out on vacation, not making excuses, but this is the reality. So if you're calling about the ones from the Gib Lot to the Parade Square, please call the Village Commission. And if you're talking about the other two, please contact myself or council or staff here directly. I want to bring us to another sad moment in our municipality. On July 20th, we lost a great supporter of our community and our municipality and the province and beyond. Sir Christopher Ondaatje left us on July 20th. I knew Christopher personally and his family. I am saddened to hear this. He was the sole reason we have a playhouse.
Yeah.
He bought it, he donated it, he supported it. That's not all he ever did in this municipality, but that was the big one.
He's done a lot of things.
And I could go on and on and on. There are many people that are saddened to hear of his loss. We've lost a number of great people in our community this year, and I continue to think, wow, this is going to change the way we think and the way we operate. In late August, they're looking to hold a community celebration in his honor. And I'm going to make a motion at this point. They're looking for a $500 contribution to that program for recognition and celebration of Sir
There are other
Christopher.
community organizations making donations.
That's correct. There's 4 going to be involved at least, and maybe a few others, all being looking to invest into it. I'm going to make a motion, and I'm looking for a seconder on supporting that program for $500. And I thank Christopher Ondaatje, Sir Christopher Ondaatje, for what he did. Thank you.
Somebody prepared to second it? Second it. Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried.
Was he in Chester when he passed?
No, I believe he was overseas. I'm not sure exactly where he was, but he was, you had to know him. He was a very involved person of our community and beyond. Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to take, that's the end of the agenda. Well, sort
Yeah,
of.
you need to take a break.
We need to have a break so we can have the nominating committee meeting, then we have to come back and deal with the recommendations from them so that we can move on.
We're going to take a break as part of our group here.
Except for Abdella and Clarissa and myself. We're all staying. call the meeting to order. And a report from the nominating committee. Abdullah?
Thank you. As chair of the nominating committee, these nominations have been approved by the committee, and I will list them. And when we're finished listing them, we will look for a motion
To approve them.
to approve them. All at once? Fell swoop.
Yeah. Just do it now.
The audit committee nominated Sandra Damaris and Heather McLeod. The Chester Fire Services Committee, Kirk Collicutt and Norman Countaway. The Planning Advisory Committee, there were 7 vacancies. So the 7 are Nicholas Buckle, Sandra Hiscock, Tristan Mills, Margison Reeves, Stephen Rogers, Leslie Taylor, and Fred Wendt. He used to be on Cheers, actually. That was his name, on Cheers, I think, was the,
Could be.
sorry. And for,
Keep
for the
going.
citizens, for the Citizens Landfill Monitoring Committee, there were 3 vacancies, but we had 2 applications, Brad Armstrong and Robert Earl Mitchell. The RCMP Advisory Board had 3 vacancies, and we had 3 applications, Brad Armstrong, Terry Demont, and Bev Armstrong. The Recreation and Parks Committee, we had two vacancies, and we nominated Kevin Marzak and Jacqueline Church. And those are all the nominations, so I'll look for a motion.
You're allowed to move it. You're not the
Okay,
chair.
I'll move those nominations.
Seconded. Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. That's the end of business, people. Motion to adjourn.